So we discussed this in the last class, how to implement push and pop in a stack. Uh, so let me show you the implementation maybe. So if you can look into the code. Okay, first let me run the code and see what the code does. Then I will come to the code. So this is a menu-driven program of sorts. So it will ask the user to about his or her option. So the options are, one is option number 1 is push, 2 is pop, 3 is display the top of element, and 4 display all the stack elements, 5 is quit. So I want to push a few elements. So let me give my choices 1, and suppose I want to push 1. So the stack elements are only 1, right? Then I want to push again, and item which I push say is 3, say 3. So now the stack looks like this. So this is the top of the stack, right? 3, and then so first I pushed 1 and then I pushed 3. Let me push again. So let it be 5. So now the stack is 5, 3, 1. Okay, let me push one more element. So let it be 7. 7, 5, 3, 1. Okay. Now let me try to pop. So in popping, you don't have any option, right? You can pop only the top element. So let me pop. So 7 is gone, right? Popped element is 7, and now the stack looks like this: 5, 3, 1. Then if I pop again, 5 is gone. 5 from 5, 3, 1, 5 is gone. If I pop again, sorry, 3 is gone, and then if I pop again, 1 is gone. Now the stack is empty, right? So if I try to pop again, what will happen? Stack underflow. There is a stack underflow. The popped item is minus 9, and that means it is an invalid item. And if I display all the elements separately, stack, it will print stack is empty, and now I'm quitting. Okay, so it's very simple. So for the sake of simplicity, I am using global variables. So stack array. So max, this is a macro. Macro is something similar to a variable, except that so it is done by the compiler. So whenever you compile the code, this value of max will be blindly replaced by 10. So it is basically as good as having a array, which is for the purpose of implementing a stack. The name of this array is array, basically stack underscore array, ARR. Max, so it can have maximum 10 elements. And as I mentioned, the top is initially -1, which means that the stack is empty. Now in main, what I do, I write an infinite loop, and I'm printing all these elements here, and I'm asking for a choice from the user. And depending upon the choice, I am performing the operations. So for choice 1, it is push. I'm calling this push function. For 2, I am popping by calling the pop function. And I'm using a peek function. So I explained this in the last class. Peek means just printing the top of the stack, right? And then there is a display function, and there is exit. So let's look at how we are doing push. There is a function is full. So I'm not. So I'm coming to this. I mean later on. So is full will be true if the stack contains already 10 elements, right? Because here the value of max is 10. So I'm trying to push an element item. So initially top was -1, right? Then top has incremented to 0. From -1 it has become 0, and basically stack 0 is now item. If you display this, what will happen? What am I doing in display? I'm printing the elements of the stack from top to basically bottom. So the top element is getting basically getting incremented, right? So the current value of top will contain the top element. From that I am printing to 0, right? So I'm basically printing the array in the reverse direction, because as I mentioned in the last class, top is every time incrementing, right? So top, so in this case the size was 5, for example. So after I inserted 5 elements, the top would have been here. So I'm printing from here. So this is then I mean this would have been the top after 5 elements are inserted. So I'm printing from in this direction, because this is the top, and I'm printing in the reverse direction, which means I'm printing in the decreasing order of the eligibility to be deleted. What would that mean? This is a last in first out type, last in first out type of data structure. The element that goes in at the end is eligible to be deleted. So this is the element which was inserted at the beginning. So this is the last element which is eligible to be deleted, right? So if I print it in this order, it means that this has the highest priority. This is the highest eligibility to be deleted. Then comes this element. So I'm printing in that direction. Simple enough. This is a display which I'm doing in push itself, because I want to see how the stack currently looks like after one element has been inserted. Similarly, in pop, what I'm doing, I assuming that it is not empty initially. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the top element. So the top element is this one, right? Top element will be this one in this case, 45, and I'm taking that and I'm decrementing top by -1 by 1. So then the top would come to this location. There can be multiple other ways of implementing stack. This is not the only way, but this is how I have been doing. So it is incrementing in this direction. The top is incrementing in basically this direction as I add more and more elements to it. Basically, as I keep on pushing, and when I pop, the top this top will decrement in this direction, right? And there are two functions which I'm using here. One is empty, that will be required if in basically pop operation mostly, because if you want to remove something, you must ensure that there is something to be removed, right? If top is -1, then it will return 1, which means that it is empty. Similarly, for full, in our case, the upper limit is max. So in this case, it is 10. So since we are using an array, basically static array, whose size was basically initialized at the time of declaration. So here, if the top has already reached 9, so it has started from 0, right? When the first element was inserted, it was 0. When the last element was inserted, it has become if it has become 9, then you cannot insert any other element. So if this is the condition for full, and this will I mean return 1 if this is full. Otherwise, it will allow to add one more element. And there is one functionality which is used sometimes. So suppose someone wants to look at the top element. Okay, so here also I'm doing a check. If it is already empty, then there is nothing nothing at the top, right? Otherwise, it will return the top element. Very simple, right? It is really very simple. You just need to look into the code. I will share the code with you. Please have a look into this code, and you will be. I'm sure you will be able to understand. So it is if you have understood arrays, then you should be able to understand implementation of stack using arrays. Okay, now have a look at this example again. What am I doing here? I am inserting elements one by one. So I'm basically pushing elements one by one. So I'm pushing 5, then I'm pushing 4, then I'm pushing 3, then I'm pushing 1. Okay, let's run the code again. Let's look at the growing stack again. So I'm pushing 5, 4. So the stack is 4, 5, right? Choice is 1, so it means 3. Sorry, pushing 3. So 3, 4, 5. I'm pushing 1 again. I'm pushing, and what I will push 2. Right? Then I'm pushing 1. So the stack is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what elements did I push? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And what I'm getting? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Does it ring a bell? Can you suggest an operation which I can do automatically with stack? Just look at the inputs here also. You can also look at the inputs here. You can look at the inputs 5, 4, 3, and 1. Okay, and I am popping what I'm getting 1, 3, 4, 5. This is a stack also for you. So suggest me an immediate application of stack looking at the input and output sequence. That's a question for you. Yes, please let me know one implementation of stack. So one application of stack. What can I do using stack? Just look at the input sequence and look at the output sequence. So I am trying to do a reversal of string. So I have done many other reversals, right? So so I have showed you some other string operations using reversal, but this time I am going to do it using stack. And I'm not going to use global variables at all. So here max is not a global variable. Max is a macro, so it is not a variable. Okay, so if I get time, I will also cover macros. So this is not a variable. So here the restriction is that global variables are not allowed. So what we can do, we need to pass the information about the stack. What are the information we need to pass? The stack itself and the top, right? That's what we want to pass. So this is the array using which I am going to implement stack, and this is the top. So initially top is -1, right? And this is a stack, and this is a string which I am going to reverse. So what I am doing, I am pushing elements one by one. Elements are what? str. So I'm running a for loop. It runs from the first element to the last element. So strlen is what in this case? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it runs from, so it is less than 8, right? So it runs from 0 to the string length -1. So it is I plus plus. Okay, so this is simple enough for loop. It runs from 0 to the length -1. So basically it runs from S to D. So I am pushing this element to this stack in this order, of course, in this order. So what I am doing, I am passing the starting address of the array and I am passing top. So what exactly am I passing? I am passing stack, right? So basically that is ampersand stack 0. I am passing ampersand top because I want top to be modified in this function itself, because global variables are not there. And I'm passing the value of the first element of the string. So that's all I need, right? I don't need to change the string as of now. I only need to access the elements. So I check if top is equal to max. Basically this is, this is ampersand top. So to access top I need to use star. I check if this is so max is the maximum number of elements which you can have in this array, basically in this stack. So if it is equal to max -1, then we don't do the push. Otherwise we increment top by 1. It is the same operation as before, except that it is done at a pointer level. So I'm accessing the actual top and incrementing it. The top is getting incremented, and so initially top was what, -1. Now it has become 1. So I am pushing element to top to basically stack. So this I am doing 7 times, so basically 8 times. So I am pushing stressed in this order, one by one into the stack. So the stack looks like this, right? DESSERTS. So I basically talked about this string before. So now I need to pop it out one by one. So I know how many elements do I can pop, right? Because it is again the length of the string. So for the pop operation, I don't need to pass any value to be pushed, right? So because I'm doing pop, so I need to pass the starting address of the array and ampersand top, and it will return the popped element, so which I'm storing in the same variable. So I'm basically overwriting the variable. You may not do that, you can take another variable, but this is what I'm doing. So this is the pop operation. If top is -1, then there is stack underflow. So which means that the stack is empty. Otherwise it will take its top element and it will decrement top. So we already did this, right? So, and it is basically returning the item. So now string in this order will contain the reversed string. So let's run this. So the reverse string is deserts, right? It was stressed, so it was stressed, and it has got reversed. So here I have not used any global variable. Instead, I have passed the stack and the top element, the top and the element which I need to push here, and I am passing the stack and the top, and I'm returning the popped item. Okay, so this is quite simple, and as I mentioned that this is I think informally it is called Emod Emod-NELAP. So have you heard of this before? Emod-NELAP means the words in a vocabulary which, if reversed, give rise, basically results in a meaningful word. So a special case of this is a palindrome. So palindrome is something which is invariant under basically the reversal, right? But if the string is not a palindrome, then upon the reversal, the string which we get after basically reversing it may not be a valid word of that vocabulary, but Emod Nilap is one such example where the reverse word, so we reverse stressed and we got deserts, right? So both are valid words. So this is just a trivia. So I hope you have got this, you've understood this code. I will share this code with you. Please look into this and try to play around with this. Okay, so I think the about pointers, of course about pointers, and but about stacks, I have covered the basic implementation and I have covered one application. I can cover one more application, but this I can do later on. So I want one application I think is good enough for you to understand the implementation. So now let's look at another data structure that is called a queue. So queue is this. Queue is so this is imagine that this is, I mean, here is a ticket counter at this point. So the queue looks like this. So this is the front of the queue or the beginning of the queue. This is the end of the queue, or it is also called the rear of the queue or the end of the popularly front and rear are used. So this is perhaps most well-known data structure which is used frequently in our basically real life. Okay, but a queue may not be as obvious as this one. So this is physically a queue, right? So this you see at ticket counters or in all the applications where the person who is standing at the front will get more preference I mean more preference for preference for the resource than a person who is standing behind. So naturally the people who are standing towards the rear of the queue will have less basically priority. So this person has the highest priority, right? So that's the way it is. So so insertion is done at the rear. So when you want to add more elements or more another person comes in, he will join the end of the queue, not the beginning of the queue, right? So insertion is done at the rear and deletion is done from the front. So this person will be deleted from the queue after this person has for example in the ticket counter has got the ticket, right? Has basically I mean bought the ticket. So insertion at the head and insertion at the rear and deletion at the front. So insertion operation is called the NQ operation and deletion operation is called the DQ operation. And the deletion is based on first in first out policy. So what is that? First in, the person who enters a loop at first will also go out of the queue at first, which means that the person who comes in before will also leave before. So this is a normal queue, right? So it is a very important application in operating systems in scheduling the processes. Normally what we do, we ask so there can be several processes running, right? So here I mean in this case many processes would have been running in parallel, but basically the operating system can have a multiple processes requested at several points of time. So they will stay in the queue. The process which comes at the beginning will have a first go at the resources. So what is the resource? So in this case the resource is the ticket, right? So in operating system, the resource is the CPU time, the RAM, the memory, and a lot of other things, right? But there can be several other policies, like first in first out policy may not be necessarily used in an operating system, right? So so suppose one operation is what, so I am so this some program is running in the background to allow me to browse through the slides, right? So that is one process, that is one program. Another program is going on at your end, you need a different basically scheduling algorithm, that is basically called, I mean, round robin scheduling. So everyone is getting a chance uh, to use a part of the CPU. So for that we don't use queue, something else, but that can be combination of several other factors. But if the situation is like this, we use queues. Queues are extremely important. So this is the front and this is the rear. And if you look at the operations, insertion and deletion, and we want to implement it using an array, let's see how we can do it. So this is an array A, and array is initially empty. So how do we insert? We insert at the rear and we delete at the front, right? So initially there are no elements, and front and rear are both initialized to -1. So when one element is inserted here, the front becomes non-zero initially, and so basically front and rear are both incremented initially when you try to do this, right? In general, in an insertion operation, front stays, so except for the first insertion, the front basically stays where it is, the rear increments. So so initially, so basically front has become 0 and rear has also incremented, right? So rear has also become 0. When you add another element, you uh, basically increment rear. So you add another element, you increment rear. So this goes on until the array is filled up. What happens if you delete? So deletion is done at front, right? So in that case, front will be incremented. So suppose, so here I have, so initially I have inserted 25 and then I have inserted 44. So this is the state of the queue right now. Right. Now I have inserted 25. Sorry, I have deleted 25. So I incremented front to this position. If I want to delete 44, then I will increment front, but I will not increment rear, because rear will increment whenever there is an insertion. But if I want to delete 44, I will increment front. So this is a situation where front has overtaken rear. This is a case where the queue is empty. So there are several conditions for to ensure to indicate the empty queue. So this is one of them. So what is the other one? The other one is this one, right? This means the queue is empty, and this is another condition where front has overtaken rear. So if you look at the implementation, adding something. So what we do? So of course there is a check whether it is a full or empty. So if we are going to add something to it, so queue array is the array where I'm going to put all the elements. Initially rear and front both are -1. When I add one element, unless it is full, if it is full, that is here the number of elements which you can store is 10, right? The number of elements which you can store is maximum, the maximum of this is 10. So unless it is already the stack is full, that is, you have already used up the space of 10 elements, there will insertion will be possible, right? So when you are inserting, front will become 0, which will indicate that there is something to be deleted, because now I am adding it, which means that that element can also be deleted, right? Which means that it is not empty, so front will be 0, and you are incrementing rear by 1. So this will not work if the stack is not empty, right? If the stack is, so this is the condition, if the stack is not empty, the front is already not -1, right? So it is sitting somewhere. So only at the initial insertion, both will be incremented by 1. So that at the initial insertion, front will be initialized to 0. Rear will increment. So this will take place anyway, whether you are inserting for the first time or inserting in general, or it will increment. And after it is incremented, we are putting this item here. So Q rear will contain the item. This is for insertion. So I repeat, while you insert, if it is already empty, that is front is -1, you put front to 0, and you of course increment rear by 1, so rear also becomes 0. So at 0 you put this item. But for the other instances of enqueuing, or basically adding element, this will not take place, but rear will always increment by 1, and at the incremented position this item will be put, so that every time it is getting incremented, every time, just think about the rear only. So every time rear is incremented, it is putting that element in its incremented position. So here also rear is incremented from this position to this position, and that position will be taken by the element which is inserted. Okay, so this is enqueue or insertion. And how do we delete? So if it is empty already, then we cannot delete, right? Otherwise we delete from the front, right? So rear will not be touched in this case. So you cannot basically delete when it is empty. So so when you inserted, when it was empty, you touched upon front. But here this situation, sorry, where it is not empty, right? So we already have some elements and we want to delete one element. So you take the Q array front and you return that element, and before returning you increment front by 1. That's exactly what we did in the example, right? Here I take this element and I'm incrementing front by 1. Front is here and this element is returned. Now what are the conditions for emptiness? One condition is front is equal to -1, that is the initial condition, and the other condition is what I mentioned, right? Front has overtaken rear. Front is rear plus 1. That also means that the queue is empty. So if this either of these so exactly one of these conditions will be true, can be true. If either of this is true, then it will return 1, which means that the stack is indeed empty. Otherwise it will return 0. After which, if it is not empty, then basically you can delete one element, or you can only check if it is empty or not. And this is a condition for full. So you check rear to be max -1, because insertion is taking place at the rear end only, right? And you need to see whether you can do more insertion or not. So you can do more insertion only if you have not exceeded already sitting at the limit, sitting on the brim. So that is the check you need to do. You don't need to check the front here, right? And peek is another operation, that is it looks at the front only. You can also look at the rear, doesn't matter, but usually people look at the end where you can delete, right? So I'm not showing you the implementation. I want you to have a go at implementation of queue, but I will discuss that in the next class.